pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we are short one person.
I didn't hear from her, did you?
Was that a no?
I didn't know she wasn't coming.
Okay. We don't have any presentations, do we?
We don't.
Public comments and concerns. Anybody out there have anything they want to say?
Oh, I do. My name is Ed Toole. I live 2 miles south on 75. This is the first time I've been to one of these meetings. I didn't know they even occurred. I've been there 5 years. The reason I'm here is to find out more information about the subdivision going down, the subdivision that they're working on. So that's the point of the reason that I showed up today. I'm gonna assume this was covered prior, so that's why I'm here. Any information I can give, or any questions I can ask, or anything that anyone can get me up to speed on, it would be great.
What would be your concern? What kind of, what do you want to know?
How many homes, the size of the homes?
163.
163,
Yep.
okay,
Total in 3 phases.
okay.
First phase is going to be 70 homes.
When do they expect to be completed, or when do they expect the first home to be up? I assume they're gonna have a model.
Should.
I don't know if they are or not. They're pretty much buy and build type. So if they have a model, I don't know if they've told us that.
I think they will have,
They
because
will
they've
have
already got
one.
them up at Crawfordsville and their
Yeah.
new one over there. But yes, I think there will be.
Okay. Seems like that would be unusual to not have a model, but,
It's about a 3-year project.
okay, so it's 3 years. They're all single-family homes?
Yes.
Okay. Are any of them government subsidized?
No, they're not supposed to be.
Not supposed to be. Okay,
They're not supposed to be that, and they're not supposed to be where a company could come in and buy 3 to 5 of them and then put their people in it. It's supposed to be individual families.
are there any regulations as far as Airbnb or rentals or any of that?
That would be up to the homeowner.
Well,
There's
yeah.
going to be a homeowners association.
It'd be in the HOA, but we asked that question and they indicated that wasn't something that they go along with. They being Arbor, so.
And then so they have a contract that they've had presented and signed by the council, or?
Area Plan Commission and the council, yeah, there's a process that they went through
So the plan commission is for the county, or,
for Thorntown.
okay, so whom are those, how do I find out if that's?
So you can go on our town website,
Okay. Which is?
and I can't remember where you find it, but our ordinances, you can get to all the town ordinances. And I can tell you, chapter 150 through 152, Eric's part of our APC, that's why I'm looking at him. There are guidelines in there as to what a housing development has to meet, the qualifications they have to meet for the town ordinance.
Okay, what is the website?
Townofthorntown.com.
Okay, that's easy. Okay, so do they know when right now they're putting in sewer?
Yeah, their infrastructure,
Sewer,
water,
water, electric, that all's going in the streets.
And water, since you mentioned it, how is that being supplied?
from the town.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
they're,
there is municipal water here.
well, yeah,
I'm on wells.
that addition is part of Thorntown.
Okay,
They annexed Thorntown, so they're part of Thorntown. And we have to provide the water and electricity, of which we're doing.
Mhm.
We're also in deficit of water to continue on past the 70 homes, so we have to put in another well.
where would that be located?
It'd be,
In our current well field,
I'm
which
sorry.
is,
I'm sorry, I don't know where the current well field
Okay.
is.
it's just northeast corner of town.
you know where the water tower is?
is.
Okay,
Okay, it's right,
in the water tower over here?
There is one, there's two.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
the
northeast one.
main well house is over here, just adjacent to that water tower. It's on that side of town, on the east side of town.
Okay, so that's where the other well will be.
Yes.
And you said you got enough water for the first phase, the first 70 homes is,
I think we got enough water for the whole thing, but the state doesn't.
the state doesn't think that there's enough water.
IDEM is directing us that we have to do this.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
IDEM is.
Oh, okay,
The state will only let you go up to 80% capacity. They're saying the first 70 homes will put us at that 80% capacity.
okay, so then you'll have to drill another well to finalize.
Well, and then we have to build another well house along with that. So that well house has been here since 1954.
Okay,
And it's substandard for a new well, which would be 3 wells providing water to it, and it needs to be upgraded. And we're in the process of getting that done at the same time, so they can continue to build the rest of their houses.
okay. Yeah, I just want to find out what's going on, what type of subdivision is gonna be. Is it special, some type of government subsidized homes? I would like to know what type of people are coming. Not that I'm necessarily against it if it's basic, conventional, normal financing.
Yeah.
for people.
Yeah, it's normal finance, it's not government subsidized, and you can, if you wanna look at something Arbor's done, if you take 47 East and go to Sheridan,
Okay.
and a good way to look at, as you get into Sheridan, on the right-hand side, you can see a bunch of homes. If you drive into there, you probably get lost. They got more homes than I couldn't believe how big that's gotten. But if you go on through a little ways, you get to a road called Mule Barn Road. If you turn right on Mule Barn Road, you'll go down, you'll be on the east side of that subdivision, but it goes back, way back to the east, and it goes south quite a ways. And they're building more as we speak. They've got more land, and they're getting ready to open up more over there, which is amazing to me. I worked over there years ago for the phone company, and that was all farmland then. And that subdivision's a city in itself now.
Yeah, so is there plans to enlarge this, or is this gonna be for lack of a better word, a landlocked?
Well, and honestly, at this moment, we are landlocked. There's no one willing to sell any land around us. So that's,
The town doesn't own any land. It's all owned by individuals.
Okay.
yeah.
So Arbor purchased this, and I don't even know how many acres it is over there, give or take.
I don't remember.
I don't remember what
I
it
don't
was.
remember either.
It's a pretty good chunk of land right there. As you go by on 47 and look at it, it's a pretty good
Yeah.
chunk
no,
they've got cleared off. But the thinking with, I think, the council and the town is that I don't believe, and I don't think we believe, that that's going to be the end of it. Somebody else is going to come in and offer somebody enough money to put more subdivision in around here, but we don't know. We haven't been approached, let's put it that way, by anybody that's interested but the fields that surround the town are all owned by individuals. So.
That was not.
It
Yeah,
was.
It
yes.
was. They sold, but yeah, it
Okay.
was, it was
Another
sold.
individual could sell land next to it and he just could keep going and going. What was the thought process to even approve this? It's just,
Well,
You're not gonna stop progress, but I can tell
that may
you.
be, that may be, but
Um,
at some point, it's, and I don't wanna take up too much time. I'm just kind of segueing to this whole LEAP project.
Sure,
And you said you can't stop progress. And I understand that to a certain degree, and I think most people's issue with LEAP is not so much the progress, it's the scale.
right.
I mean, what is it, 7,000, 9,000 acres, it depends who you talk to. And that's before you get into the state, going into the real estate business. So it's just the scale of that.
Right.
So that's why I pose that question. Is this going to continue on? I mean, that's kind of.
well, if you stop and look at the LEAP project and what it's done and what it has brought in with Eli Lilly, those people that's gonna work there have all gotta live somewhere. And it amazes me today is how, if you watch television, they show that our production of children is way down compared to what somebody thinks it should be, but yet everything that's being built has been sold and people moved into it. So where's all these people coming from? I don't know, but they're coming from somewhere because every place that's building is filling up as soon as they build.
Yeah, that's a $64,000 question that everyone looks at. Where are all these people coming from? Whether it be here or Whitestown, Anson, it just goes on and on.
Well,
And,
The
you
Boone,
look at the little Sheridan wasn't much bigger than Thorntown. And that, I mean, it's huge. You go over and look at that, it's just unbelievable. Where are they coming from Sheridan to fill up all those houses at Sheridan? It's just amazing to me. And I think that, the next logical place is on the south side of town over here to the west a little bit of that place, which belongs to a farmer outside of town here. Now, whether he'll sell or not, I don't know. I suppose most of those guys, I'd rather see them make crops than I would houses, but some part, well, maybe I'll be dead, but sometime that we're gonna run out of land for crops and where are we gonna eat?
and I agree with that. There's a line that I really don't think we should cross, but yeah, I mean, if someone offers enough money, it's hard to walk by it. I get that.
Yep.
And I don't want to really rehash or bring up the point of the state offering way more for this property than it was worth. So, I mean, it's tough to say no to that. And then it's just kind of a domino effect. So,
the Boone County Economic Development Corporation had a housing study done for Boone County.
mhm.
And I, don't ask me what all was involved. I can't answer that. But they said between now and 2035, Boone County is going to need 10,000 homes.
More than one.
Is-
In addition.
10,000 additional is what the study showed.
Okay. Well, I think a lot of us, me included, moved out here not to have this come to me. So. that's just-
How far down 75 do you
Well,
live?
I'm 2 miles past the two curves.
Past 300?
Yes. Yeah, I bought my property from Ed Shelley.
Oh, okay.
I live next to Ashley.
So you live right there around that little lake, little pond?
I live across from Sue Gillum.
Yeah, there's a pond right there.
Yeah, they have a pond and Shelley's have a pond too. So I'm right now, I don't,
First house south of Ashley.
yeah, the brick house, you can't miss it. There's another one up on the hill. I'm the one that's been there 5 years. To ask another question, all the metal power lines, structures that are, what are those for those lines?
That's Duke Energy. That's just
Is that just an
upgrades,
upgrade?
getting
Okay.
away from wood poles.
Okay. I didn't know if that was increased capacity to prepare for any of that coming in.
I don't believe so.
Well, they're bringing power in as far as the school. That input that supplies our power, then we'll take it from there and go out Grant Street to supply it to the subdivision. So that's all, I mean, that's all in the works to get done. Now, what they're doing out there to their substation, I don't know unless they're just improving it because it needed improved. I don't know if they're trying to get more capacity, I don't know.
Okay. Okay. I think they're pretty much, I just need to get to the website so I can see the information. Because surely they have to spell out in a contract what they are gonna do and what they're not gonna do.
Yeah, well, and a lot of that dates back a couple of years.
Yeah,
I don't even remember when they first presented that, but it's been,
Yeah. Why was there such a delay? Or was that normal protocol?
a lot of the delay was because we weren't prepared for it. The town wasn't.
Okay, well, I guess the town here for that has water from the '70s.
Yeah.
It's not like the other boondoggle.
Yeah, well,
we sit over an aquifer, we do, and Lebanon does not. The aquifer runs from here to kind of to the northeast, and right now, we sit where we have plenty of water. I question some of that because Lebanon takes out of that aquifer too. They bought the rights out there next to Sugar Creek by Old Indiana when it folded. And they've got 3 wells out there that they're pumping water to Lebanon in. Now they're buying some from other places now because they were shut down for a while. But water's a big thing, yes.
Yeah, so, I mean, with what you just said, so is there concern with that aquifer having water issues after the '70 and after Lebanon?
There's
Side
concern
note.
from me. Now, I don't know about the rest of the board, but you can't just keep taking water out and not
Sure.
putting water in. And if you look around here, you don't see all of it, but almost all these farmers' fields around here have been tiled. Well, when you run water into the tile, and then the water runs off into the creeks and so on to get rid of that water, so the fields stay dry. It's not getting back into the aquifer. So where's the aquifer get water? I have no idea. And I know that the boring the new well concerns me because we don't know how deep the aquifer is. We know approximate outline of it, but we don't know how deep that water is down there. And yeah, water's a concern, but right now it's not, but it could be.
And who made that determination? How do you know it's okay for the '70, based on what you just said?
We don't, because we have authorized a well to be drilled, but it's a exploratory well to be drilled. I'm concerned because of where our other 2 wells are, that we drill too close, but we've had experts in here that drill wells that say, oh, that's no problem. Well, it's okay to say that, but you don't know what's underground. But I don't agree with drilling an exploratory well. And then if we've authorized the money to do it, and then it comes up that it's in sand and it isn't any good, it has to produce so many gallons per minute in order to be usable. And if that doesn't happen, then we got to pay to do another well. So I just think we might have jumped the gun before we got all the facts about the aquifer.
You referring to this when you say all that?
To what?
This subdivision with this water concern you have?
No, I'm not concerned. I'm really not concerned about that because we've been assured by engineers and well drillers that we should be okay.
The actual water is not their concern. It's the pumping capacity that we lack. It's not the actual physical water that they're worried about. It's our pumping capacity.
Well,
We can't.
That sounds like that's fairly easy to overcome.
Yeah, for about $4 million, we can overcome that.
Yeah, that's a whole other story. Okay.
But I don't think you have to worry too much about that where you live, at least for a couple of years before we get out that far.
Well, I'm not gonna like that. I'm not gonna just knock on the door and say I'm moving in. Okay, well, I just probably need to get to the website to see some more information.
You can, all the minutes from our meetings from the Area Plan Commission are on the website. You can go back and read minutes from at least last year.
I think
and-
they go back into 2023, whatever minutes I had. I don't have everything, but
And it's the planning commission that has the do's and don'ts as far as Arbor Homes is concerned.
That's correct.
Yes.
The planning commission reviews drawings that are submitted against the existing ordinances, and they do check marks. Yes, yes, no, yes. Planning commission doesn't decide if the facility's gonna be built. We just check that it matches all the codes and ordinances. It's not our problem. So once you see the design,
Whose call is it to make that?
it'll be the town council's call. If they want to do it. In addition, I mean, it was annexed, it was part of the county. It's, correct me at any point if I'm wrong.
It
it's part
was
of the
part of
county, but who's gonna service it if there's a place called a fire call? So essentially, you'd have you'd have a gap, right? So Thorntown's always going over there.
So what does it mean when it's annexed into the town, meaning?
It was not a part, that land was not a part of the town to begin
So it
with.
had to be annexed in order for you to service it with utilities?
Yes.
Okay.
It has to be adjoining of the town of which it was in Westfield Addition out here. That field where it starts is adjoining the Westfield Addition, and then we could annex it, or they could request us to annex it, Arbor could, after they bought it. So at that point, we agreed as a council to annex that property, which then became Thorntown, clear out to the end of the housing addition.
And like he said, the Area Plan Commission, they submit their plans to the Plan Commission. They check them off whether they follow our ordinances. And if they do, then they present it to us and then we make.
Yeah, I understand I need to get up to speed, but, on a lot of this, since this is my first time showing up here. But to actually see construction going on, you're not really knowing what's going on. Okay, all right, I appreciate the information.
And I'd like to say, I hope you didn't take wrong when I said you can't stop progress. Because
No.
you really can't, because unfortunately in our world, money rules. But I can tell you that I'm new to this board, and I can tell you that I'm speaking for myself, but I'm here to be the person pushing back, to slow things down and make it just the way it should be instead of just, because I drove a truck for Sagamore Gas, and they do a lot of temporary heat. So I covered Sheridan and Fortville and Carmel and that whole area over there. But anyway, one day in Fortville, I asked the superintendent, where do all these people get this money? I mean, they got a brand new house, they got a brand new boat, they both got a new car and a new truck. And I'm going, I'm 55 years old and there's no way I can afford this. And he said, drive around and look at the license plates. And I said, the license plates? And he said, yes. You're going to see Illinois, meaning Chicago, California, New York, Pennsylvania. And by golly, he was 100% spot on. They're flowing here because they're trying to escape that in their states or huge communities and all the riffraff, so,
Riffraff, yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah, and I don't, per se, I don't have an issue with 166 homes. I mean, what is there, 1,600 people in this town? What, at least that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I understand that some of them are gonna be working at this facility. I just wanna make sure it's people that had to apply for a loan, didn't get any type of assistance. Because at one point, under the prior administration, there was only certain people that would get financing to build certain subdivisions across this whole country. And that is, fit certain criteria, as far as equity and that type of thing. So I want to make sure that's not going on either. And that's why I showed it.
Yeah, these homes out here are supposed to be in the price range between 250 and 350.
Which is much nowadays.
So,
So, yeah, if they have to pay 350 and, a 7% mortgage, it's gonna, I wouldn't do that. But that will qualify a better homeowner per se to be able to be approved for that type of a house. And I have no issue with that.
That's part of the reason that the council approved that out, but also was because it was gonna happen anyway. That subdivision was gonna go in whether we wanted it to or not. But by us annexing that in and us having to approve that and the APC having to approve it, it gives us some control over what, not a lot of control, but more guidance of how it goes in and who goes in.
Yeah, I hear you, and I agree with what you said. I also remember with this LEAP project, people saying they were gonna do this no matter what. And, I just, again, there should have been some more pushback, and we tried to do what we could, but whichever one of those said money talks, so. That's a whole nother mess. Okay, I'll do my research, find out what I need to find out. We have another meeting in 2 weeks?
Yes,
First and third Monday,
Oh, okay, so it's always first and third.
yep.
unless it falls on a holiday, then it
Okay, yeah,
might be switched, but first and third Mondays.
okay.
So thank you for coming, and I personally hope you come to more meetings, because that's what we need is people of the community to come to the meetings and be up to date with what's going on, plus people have ideas, and some ideas that come just off somebody's cuff is the best idea,
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I think, well, yeah, everybody should be involved, but I'm sure you had more people at prior meetings when this was going to be announced. It's the first time they've been in this building, so. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and head out then. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
Ed,
you.
come back.
Sure, bye-bye.
Okay, moving on, APC. You got anything?
No.
Nothing? I'd say we got to move clear down to the utility department.
Well, I'll give you a couple things. We had the west water tower inspected and disinfected this past week. They said the water tower is in excellent condition, completely clean, ready to go. So we're good out there in the tower. The influent meter solar panel that I talked to you about some time ago has been installed. There's a couple more things we're gonna do tomorrow that haven't finished. And one of the questions was asked at that time, Maximo asked it. But what would be the lasting power of the battery that is charged by solar? If basically, he didn't say this, but what he meant was if we went days without sun, 100 days. When it's fully charged, it can go 100 days without being recharged, and it will. Whereas the ones we have down there are really only geared for 7 days. So it's quite a difference. And it should keep us getting what we need until we get something going else, which is going to happen. And the other thing is we did put a gravel drive around the brush pile down by the pond. So we shouldn't have any more stories and anybody gets stuck in mud. I'm good here.
I had somebody ask me about something down there at the brush pile. They said, am I allowed to go down there and that brush? And I said, yeah, why? And they said, there's a no trespassing sign right before the brush pile. And I said, well,
There's not now.
I said, I've seen that sign myself, and I said, I will ask about
I
it.
gotta tell you the truth, I don't know why someone made the decision to put that there. Because I thought, as soon as it's put there, I thought, now why did you decide to do that? But as I'm down there putting the gravel down, I had two separate people stop me. So is the brush pile closed? I go, no, it's right there, it's burning right now. Well, that sign says, I know, I'm moving it. So that sign you're talking about is
Yes.
gone,
Okay.
it's over by the gate.
Yeah, it's been a while, but
Yeah.
she asked me about it. So
I know.
I said, oh, yeah, that's all you
Yeah.
need to.
We're good,
The drive back
Oh,
there is
yeah.
very nice.
thank you.
Yeah, I think that sign was put up from years ago because people were going down there and they caught them in the pond and then it's like Gary said that back
Fishing in that
years
pond.
ago, they were fishing in there, catching catfish out of it.
Catching and meats are two different things.
Well, they were doing that too. They were taking it home and eating them.
Can I ask a quick question about
Sure.
park board
Yeah.
on circus? Have they came up with a date for that?
Circus?
I believe so.
Yes, it is posted up here in the window.
Probably the weekend.
What does it say?
Can we read it backwards?
Oh, duh. I didn't see that big size.
Five and seven, where'd you see that?
Right at the very top, there's the.
Oh, in big print, yes, June the 5th.
Okay.
One show will be at 5 o'clock, one show at 7:30.
So that's sponsored by the police department, right?
No, I was sponsored by the park department.
Sponsored by Park?
And I've got a couple of things to mention for park.
Good.
Um,
Well, are we done?
Yeah, I'm
Are
good.
you done, Earl?
Yeah, I'm good.
Thank you.
Tyler Smith has submitted his resignation from the park board. So that means there is a spot available for the park board. The farmer's market is this Friday and Saturday at the Tom Johnson Memorial Park from 5 to 7. And Saturday, movie in the park will be Wild Robot. And it will start somewhere around 8:30 or dusk time.
Would
What
you
was the
say,
farmer's market? What
Pardon?
was the date on the farmer's market? It's Friday or Saturday?
Friday and Saturday, so 9th and 10th.
And it's from 5 to 7.
Yes. That answer your question, or
what
you had
time?
the farmer's market?
Yeah.
5 to 7.
5 to 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Randy's want to ask about the circus. Wasn't you, Randy?
Yep.
Okay, you got
Okay.
that, okay. Okay. Moving along, we covered everything in there, I think. The minutes for April.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for April 21st, 2025.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved for 21 April. Okay. It's your time.
I don't have anything.
You sure?
No news is good news.
I can't believe you don't have anything.
I know, I couldn't believe it either.
Can you make something up?
No. I don't want to.
Okay. Town cleanup day. Oh, wasn't Sarah in charge of that? So we don't have, is there anything else we need to know about that since Sarah isn't here?
Well, you have to pick a date and a place.
Well,
I
Bruce,
mentioned,
go
I think it
ahead.
was before you were here, I mentioned to him about doing that on Bill Street.
Mhm.
Basically, from the entrance to the school down the Pearl Street. However, we decided to turn these dumpsters this way. I think this, he mentioned it might be better to go this way. One or two or three, however many we decide. That way, traffic can line up from 75, all the way down the street.
Yep.
My only concern was dumping in dumpsters off it would damage the pavement. Gary said that more than likely not. We space them apart enough, we can still, if they get full, they can still get them in and out. I imagine we'll still have the backhoe down there. Utilities will have the backhoe down there to use. So there's, they can dump from the side still. Anything that's heavy. And a lot of times people get out and throw their own stuff in there if it's not heavy. If it's heavy, they'll usually fill it in the bucket of the backhoe, and the backhoe will put it in there. So that was my idea of where to have it.
I think it's a good idea.
Earl will keep you informed. They were talking about putting dumpsters on Mill Street on the east end and line them up long ways with Mill Street. Put them there far enough back from Pearl Street that people stopping there don't affect Pearl Street. And then if you bring your backhoe down there, we can use it, and then people throwing stuff in those dumpsters. That's what we're discussing up here.
We're having a hard time getting back into the junkyard because they're just full. So we've been trying to figure out somewhere to have it other than there.
I think we need to find out if the school, we need to pick 2 or 3 dates. We're gonna need to find out if the school has any kind of event going on that day. We need to find out if Little League has any kind of Saturday tournament going on that day. Because I don't think we want to do the trash when all those other cars are down there trying to park.
You're right. School shouldn't have anything going on Saturday, and I don't remember how long Little League season runs, but
Well, and it all just depends, and
Is it normally over by June?
we haven't even picked a date yet.
Okay, because I can tell you when my grandson's last game is, if that helps.
I thought they generally got done around the end of June.
it depends if they go ahead and have some kind of playoff tournament.
They have
In
games now
July.
until the 9th,
Of June.
yeah,
Okay.
so they'll be every night pretty much, other than Fridays.
Latter part of June, would that be a good time, you think?
Yeah. I mean,
We got to give people plenty of time to get their trash together.
Gary, my only thought and concern might be, how much trash did you end up picking up off the ground up there? When it was all said and done, how much, because someone's gonna hit the ground.
Yeah, there's usually not much, I mean, and down there with it being, the pavement and stuff, it'd be easier to clean up anyways, brooms, push brooms or whatever. Of course, down there it's all dirt, and down at the salvage yard and stuff, you've got a lot of wind, where down at the school, or where we're gonna put the dumpsters out down there, you're not gonna catch the wind so bad. So, I mean, really, there's not that much debris hits the ground, and what does is easily picked up. Days when it was really windy and stuff, or raining, was always a blast down there.
What was our normal time of doing this? Was it on Saturday?
Saturday.
One day?
Did it from what, 8 to 2?
It used to be 8 to 5, but it's I think it was 8 to 3 last year, 8 to 2 or 3, something like that.
What dates are Saturdays up there, the last?
21st and the 28th, the last two.
Could we shoot for the 21st, and then if it doesn't look like it's gonna work out because of Little League, which I don't know it won't, but if it doesn't, then we could go the 28th, but we didn't know that pretty quick, wouldn't we?
So then, okay, so if June doesn't work, because, we gotta find out whether this Colwell's people are able to even do it then. So if June doesn't work, where do you want to go next? Do you want to do another summer month, or do you want to try to go to September, October?
When did we do it last year? Do you remember?
I thought we did it in spring, didn't we?
No, we did it in
We're
the
running way
fall.
late. We did it in the fall.
I want to see September. I'd have to go look.
I would say if June doesn't work, I would say go to September. Try to stay out of the heat of
So,
July and August.
all right, so September 6, 13, 20, or 27. You don't want 27, that's festival,
Right.
so that won't work.
Let's go with the 6th or the 13th. So what we need to do then is get a hold of the people that's gonna do it and find out what their, and those dates, if they got one of them, if they can do it.
Right.
So do one of you want to do that, or do you want me to coordinate this?
Is Sarah gonna do it, or does she want to do it?
So she's got all the contact information to somebody to her.
I've got all that.
Oh,
Either or, you, Sarah.
I will make contact with Caldwell's.
Okay.
Okay, I got you written down here as the head person in charge.
How do we let people know this event's going on, other than online and paste it on the front of these buildings? Are there flyers around town, or?
Well, if we end up and do it in September, we can talk with Sandy about having it put on the utility bills. We can talk to the library and have it put on the sign down here at the Lions Park. And I can send it out, put it on the website. And actually, if we do it in September and put it on utility bills, that works out pretty well. Then everybody gets it.
Yeah.
And then we can have a couple
Well,
of
we
flyers.
still do that next month, couldn't we, if we find out right away that one of those dates
I don't know if we're gonna have time to get it on the utility bills.
for June?
Yes,
Why?
because it depends on how all this timeline goes. So we've got to have time to get all this coordinated. And then I believe Sandy would have to have all the information this week in order for it to go on the utility bills and go out. So it just depends on,
Well, you need to do is find out if they can do it one of those 2 dates in June. If they can't, we'll move to
So-
September.
well, I also have to find out if there's anything else going on down that way.
Yeah,
So it's just, it's a time thing. It takes time sometimes to get all this stuff organized.
okay,
So we'll see.
okay. Anybody else got anything about the cleanup? Moving on to Lions Park.
Yes,
Mr. Wolf, you are up.
They should, have those to me this week, the appraisals. Is that what you're asking about?
No, we were asking about usage.
Amy and I talked about that last week. We're kind of leaning toward, doing a right of entry or right of use agreement with certain people, and that way you don't have to advertise it out and open it up to people. Like Sarah was mentioning, that you run the risk of other people coming in and requesting use of those grills. So we're working on the language for that and how it would look. Amy, is she on today?
She is not.
Okay, she's, she was gonna look into some other, right, like the Little League agreement and see if we can match it up to that in some way. So that seems like the best way to go. The lease agreement was gonna be a little bit problematic from a standpoint of having to advertise it out.
So that's just the signed piece of paper, is that what it amounts to?
It'd be an agreement with them that they would sign, for use. So if, I know there's been others that have used the grills before, is that correct? The 4-H?
The line, or
The K,
the K of PE did the cooking for the 4-H.
So that's kind of what we were trying to get the language to look like, so that if others could reserve it, but they would have to go through the KOP to get somebody on staff.
Okay, so all that would take is it's a paperwork deal somebody has to sign,
Yeah,
correct? And then
yeah,
we have to approve it and they sign it and that's done.
yeah. The danger you run into with getting into lease agreements or getting into agreements is then you have to worry about liability and police protection and all kinds of different things for those events. So doing it with a right of entry lays some of that liability back on the user, is what it looks like anyway.
Okay.
So I think Amy's working on that right now. We should have something real soon. And the appraisal should be done for sometime this week, I would think.
Okay, sounds good.
That could be good, because I have a meeting Friday with the insurance people.
I'll let him know, see if we can get him by then.
Okay.
Good. New business, we got it was brought up that sometime in the past, somebody's assigned a flag, town flag. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Nope.
And she's got a copy of it.
Karen Niemeyer gave this to me at choir practice one day. The library has had it since February of 2023, and she said she kept forgetting to bring it over here. So it says, "Hello, I'm a 7th grader, then, who loves flags. I think it is important that all cities have flags as they can unite people. I noticed you guys don't have a flag and was very disappointed to learn that you guys don't have one. So I made you guys a flag." So this is what he made. He says, the green represents the many cornfields that are in the city. The blue represents Sugar Creek, which runs straight through Thorntown. The white represents unity. The pattern in the background is commonly used by the Miami tribe, which settled in Thorntown. And the thorn tree represents, well, Thorntown. So, I guess multiple questions is, are we interested in having a town flag? If we have a town flag, are we interested in this one? Or are we wanting to do something where others can submit an idea for a flag?
I first think that it should be opened up to the public to submit ideas for their own drawing, instead of just saying, boom, here it is. It's my opinion.
So I mean, one of the things that would be really neat, I think you see in other places where we've got put those veteran flags up, things like this could go up. We may have to, well, we will. We'll have to figure out a way to pay for that. So do you want something put out there on the website for people to create a town flag, have it turned in by a certain date?
Why not come up with a program where if you want to design a flag, we have a certain size that we're going to make it. and part of your submission is you have to pay that fee. Then we'll display them all for however long, and the people can vote on it.
Oh, that's a good idea. And pay what fee?
To have that flag manufactured,
Oh, to have the flag made.
part of the submission of your ideas, you get to pay to have it made.
Or,
Can, but that
And if you win-
might alleviate a lot of people from submitting a design.
So this is what you do instead, you have the voters make a donation. I'm voting for this flag, I'm gonna give you $1 for my vote. And if I wanna vote 5 times, there's $5 for this flag.
There you go.
Just a thought.
There you
Where get
go.
money, I don't think you're gonna get somebody to design a flag, give you $200.
I think you're right.
And
And-
a flag costs $200.
Perhaps we could work with the utilities down there, work with the library, because I don't get that much, just that kind of traffic coming into my office to vote. But we can still put cans in there, but those would be two places I would think that would be a good place to set up cans to vote. So would you like to come up with the guidelines? I think that would be fantastic.
So then are we paying for these displays up front, and then we retrieve a refund from the voting money? How's that work?
What do you
I
mean
don't-
the displays?
Well, I mean, if
The
we were gonna
flags
hang
themselves.
them, are we just gonna have them be a paper flag that you would go there to see?
Oh, for the voting?
'Cause
Yeah,
I
they're just
imagine-
gonna be on paper, just like this. That, it would just be on paper.
You don't wanna have them make one?
No. That's too much expense.
I don't know if it's that high price, but it may be, but I
But-
think the guy over there at Lebanon that makes my shirts probably can have them made. I don't know.
Do you go to Steve Horton on the square?
On the square.
Yeah, Steve Horton. But yeah, I really think for voting, if they just have it on paper, I think it's a waste of money if we ask people to actually create a little flag, because the flags then that aren't chosen is just a waste of money. So I think just put it on paper.
I agree with that. You have more people would be willing to print out something like that than, like you say, set up a 5-year house, so that.
Yeah.
That's Jen Kinslow's grandson or great grandson, I believe, that did that.
Yeah, oh, I didn't read his name, did I? Redmond Porter. Is that who it is? Okay. So that was pretty cool. I mean, he put some thought into that. I thought that was kind of a neat thing.
So I like the description, but I don't care much for the flag, but it doesn't, there's nothing on there that says Thorntown.
Well, I think that we're gonna would have to incorporate that.
Well, I think that would be part of it to have to
So-
put on there for Thorntown.
So maybe this person will do this again and incorporate Thorntown established 1830 somewhere. So, and of course, then there's a variety of things that, for us as a town to actually do. We can, get a few little ones and put up, or just get one big one. I don't know how to do it, but hopefully somebody would know how to put it on this flagpole out here, and we could fly it underneath the American flag. So, okay, Randy, if you'll come up with some guidelines on that, then we'll take it and go from there.
How would we go about getting this out there that we're doing
Um,
Thorntown Ledger or something?
Well, yeah,
Facebook.
I'll say something to Sarabi maybe, because I don't do that social media stuff like that. So she does, so she could probably put stuff out there for us. I'll put it out on the website, and we can probably have a couple of little flyers and put them in our windows. Put one up at the bank on the bulletin board. And depending how it all plays out, maybe we can have something put on the sign at the Lions Park.
I'd reach out to the art teachers as well.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Let them know you're doing it.
Okay, anybody else got anything?
I do have something. I've recently been talking to Colin at BF&S about community crossing grant for paving this year. And he told me just today that I think this last Friday, the state decided they are not going to have a second call for community crossing grants this year. So they're going to one a year. So the next one won't be until next year sometime. They're not sure when, but they are upping it to 80% and 80-20 match. They'll do 80%. We'll match 20%.
We were 75-25.
We were 75-25, yes. But there will not be another call for it this year. So
That's,
the first one was in, I think, January. So
that's good though, because that makes our MVH restricted pot get more in our LRS, which is where all of that money comes from. So awesome.
Have you got a list of the streets that were picked out originally to,
he sent
you remember?
me a copy of the Pazer rating, or LTAP, I think it is, or whatever it's called. But what he sent me wasn't, I couldn't make heads or tails of it. So he's going to send me an actual list of the streets and their ratings.
I have all that in here in a binder.
Do you?
Mhm.
Well,
In fact, I just received,
last time we did one, he sent me just a list of all the streets and their ratings and all that, and it was much easier to read than what he sent me. So he's gonna send me one of those, but we're still looking at next year sometime before they do it again. So
we have like 9.27 miles of streets in town.
Well, the reason I asked the question was North Pearl Street considered one of the streets? Do you remember?
well, they inspect all the streets.
I know they do, but was that one, in the rating system, would North Pearl been one of them? But Earl, what do you think about North Pearl?
Well, since we did that coal patch to it, it's a lot better than what it was, but that's only gonna last so long. The streets in town, I think, are pretty good condition. But if we can do paving.
Well, and I think it's 0 to 5, they rank them. They go through and inspect all the streets, and then they rank them from 0 being the worst to 5 being the best. So we usually, once it comes time for paving, we try to start with the streets that are in worst condition and get those done.
There's other things that qualify for community crossings other than just repaving. So you can do crack fill, you can do micro surfacing. Have you guys ever done that?
No, we've always just paved.
Yeah, micro
Paved
surfacing is a way to stretch the life of a road out. So if you've got one that's just starting to show its wear and you want to stretch the life of it out, you can do that micro surfacing. And you probably saw it on 75 when they did it down there.
Yeah, we've always just paved and then done some sidewalks in conjunction with whatever streets we're paving. But, you might know better. I had mentioned this to Earl. I was just happened to be driving by the county highway one day, and I saw them out there making what I call their own cold mix.
Yeah, it's cold mix.
Would it be possible for us to be able to, maybe when it comes time, if we need to go around and patch streets, could we buy some of that from them, you think?
Oh, we'll find out.
Yeah.
I did sit down with Nick Parr a couple weeks ago. Told him I was working with you guys and told him that if they could let us know if they're planning a project for community crossings that would be in this area, that maybe we could partner on, and maybe we could get a little bit better pricing on the paving itself to help stretch the dollars out farther. So he's going to keep us in mind for that. We did that with Advance 7, 8 years ago.
Okay.
I think everything in I think everything in admin's got paid that year.
That's our most recent. The lowest number is the surfaces in most need.
Right. Yeah,
And we had to do that in the fall.
I guess it goes through 0 to 10, which we currently have some, the lowest we have are 2s. So 2s up through, we've got some 9s.
Does it list North Pearl Street on there someplace?
Oh, I'm sure it does. It's every street in here. So,
The only reason
yeah,
I'm
Pearl
asking-
Street from Bethel to Fairfield, Pearl Street from Fairfield to Market Street, Pearl Street from Church to Bethel Road. Those are all have a rating of 3, so they're some of the not so good roads.
How they going to Market Street?
Market Street's Gary Langford's house.
Huh?
Gary Langford's house, that's Market Street.
Yeah, but they're showing Pearl Street to Market Street. Well, where would you get, where would that hit Market Street?
At Gary Langford's.
At Gary Lamper's house.
Fairfield
Market
to
curls
Market.
around.
Yeah,
Market Street comes around out by Gary's house. Tees into Pearl.
we got streets with curves and, should be renamed because they're wrong names going to wrong places. But that's, you say this, but all that Pearl Street car up to Main Street is shown as a 3?
Church Street to Bethel Road. Bethel Road to Fairfield, Fairfield to Market. So it's going from Church Street there.
Okay, but it's
Pearl
not-
Street from the city limits to Market.
It doesn't show it going up to Main Street.
I'm sure it does somewhere, just not.
Because it might read
It's
47 or Main Street
yeah, but
to Bow.
I just think that's one of the streets that we ought to be concerned about. If we can't get this traffic stop coming off of 65 or 52, coming in that way, we're gonna be just constantly patching North Pearl Street because those trucks are just too heavy for that.
yeah, Pearl Street from State Road 47 to Bow Street is listed as a 7. Bow Street to Church Street, a 7.
Evidently, they don't drive on them before they when they decide what the number is.
Yeah,
I mean, they inspect them.
we pay them to do that.
They actually walk those streets.
You can agree with it or not agree with it, but I mean, they inspect them, so.
Do you want a copy of this, or do you just want to wait till he sends it?
He's gonna send it. So anyway, we're looking at next year before we get back into community crossing grant. That's all I have.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? Bruce, you got anything else? Randy, you got anything else?
Nope.
Okay.
Oh, I do.
Wait a minute.
I forgot. Okay. Earl has made connection with the guy for doing the mural on the end of the building down here, but we do need to give him 50% up front. So I need to know how you want me to go about paying for that. Do we want to divide that $1,200 by general, sewer, water, electric? And that means everybody pays like $240 out of the whole thing.
Yeah.
I see a nod.
Yes.
Everybody agrees? Okay,
We need to make a motion to do
yes, please.
that. Okay. Make a motion to split up the funds to do the painting on the building through the 4 departments.
Second. I second
Okay. Oh, everybody approved that?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So we got it approved, and you go ahead and do it that way. Okay. Somebody can see the clock when I'm making a motion to adjourn.
it. I'll make a motion to adjourn at 8:07.
All in favor?
Who was the second?
Opposed? Who was second on that?
Gary?
Gary?
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So he did contact me today and asked me about that
Oh, good.
because he has to start getting his material in order to be able to do it.
Dalton.
So glad you brought that up.
Yes.
I forgot.
Yes.
But anyway, will you be able to send out half of it tomorrow, Tuesday?
Sure. How about?
Plan on Wednesday, only because I've got a full day tomorrow and I have to leave for a couple appointments, and then I'll probably be back tomorrow night. So Wednesday, I will try to get that taken care of for him. So do I need to bring those checks to you? And- Or mail them to him?
Or he sent an invoice to Sandy, because Sandy didn't mention to me.
Yeah, you gave me a piece of paper.
I think I
Can't remember if it had his address.
Did I forward something to you or did I print something out? Because I can't remember. I think I forwarded something because he.
Yeah, if I called that gal,
Might have
she
forwarded it to
I
me.
think he
told her I
did.
lost the paperwork, so.
So however you wanna do it.
I just remember it was $1,200 and I thought, $240 out of each thing should be fine.
Let me look through my email.
Was, it used to be 80,000.
I forwarded it to you. I think there was an address.
I think next year, they're either
And
doing away with it.
where's he
or it's going
located?
way up.
It goes to
In
$2
Lebanon.
million next year.
Okay,
I was
so
gonna
maybe
say,
we could,
There, I
Figure
looked,
out a way to
I had guts.
I can write it down to you.
Get it to
you.
Okay.
The quicker I get it to you, the
I
quicker.
had them.
Yeah.
We're watching the building this
The
week.
report for me
Okay.
Surface is ready.
that shows all the assessed values for
And
town
he's ready to go.
and broken down by
That's why he
the
asked me, hey, where are
Yeah.
we at on this? So
property tax caps.
perfect.
You
Yeah,
let me
I'm
know.
glad that hit me in the head because I'm like,
All
I
right.
can't write him a check until somebody tells me where to take it from.
You let me know Wednesday, and I'll plan on meeting.
Okay,
Current.
okay.
Click in. Live. Take it to the door.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it so fast.